right now headed on a third date with a man, sorry, he's a man, who I'm so attracted to, but I get the biggest energy vibes from him. And we went out like 2 months ago for the first time. I, on the date, was like, you're kind of wrote him off. Didn't really talk to, he like would consistently hit me up and I'd be like, sorry, I'm busy. And then a week and a half ago, I was out with friends. We were like right by a spot and he was like, oh my God, like you live a block, like that bar is a block away from me. And I was like, cool, come through, come meet up with us. He came met up with us. And I was like, holy shit, this man, I'm into him. I'm very, very into him. And then I ended up going home with him. Now we're on our third date and I don't know what to do. Trying to finesse a boy series.
A few moments later.
Third date and I don't know what to do. Trying to finesse a boy. I mean,
I want you guys to imagine for a moment that you're the type of individual who goes out into the world, and even though you know a decision is terrible to do with your dating life or your romantic life, you decide to make it anyway. And not only do you make that terrible decision, but you decide to make it over and over and over again. Well, you don't need to imagine, guys, because on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at a couple of video clips from this woman right here, and we are also going to be talking about why a lot of modern women refuse to take accountability for their actions. Now, before we jump into today's video, guys, as always, make sure that you subscribe on your way in, and don't forget to subscribe to our newest member of Fiend Gang. Gentlemen, I'm going to get my editor to put up a graphic of his channel right here. I'm going to be linking Detective Warg's channel in the video description, guys. He's out here putting out daily content for you gentlemen to enjoy, slowly improving over time and growing here on YouTube. So make sure that you go and give him a subscribe. And without further ado, let's take a listen to the decisions that this woman has decided to make.
I'm right now headed on a third date with a man, sorry, he's a man, who I'm so attracted to, but I get the biggest boy energy vibes from him.
Okay, so let's pause it right there. Okay, let's just say for a moment that you're a father and your daughter is out here dating dudes who she knows to be bad news and yet decides to do it anyway. This is why, guys, like, girls like to play stupid. Like, they want to play the strong and independent card at one time, but then they want to play the I'm stupid and I didn't know any better and he manipulated me card at another time. Girls know when a dude's bad news or he's not going to commit to them, but you know what? They decide to ignore it anyway, and then they complain when they can't get commitment, or he just used her for a bit of fun and didn't want to have anything serious with her. And we end up with these classic videos of women in their cars crying about how, oh, he's a manipulator, he's a user, or whatever the case may be, despite the fact that this woman knew ahead of time what exactly was going to happen. That's always amazing to me, guys, is they know what's going to happen ahead of time, and then they pull the victim card afterwards, or they record themselves crying or some crap like this, as if we're supposed to sympathize with the terrible decisions that they've made.
And we went out like 2 months ago for the first time. I, on the date, was like, you're a boy. Kind of wrote him off. Didn't really talk to, he like would consistently hit me up and I'd be like, sorry, I'm busy. And then
let's pause it right there. Okay, so she hung out with the dude and then didn't see him afterwards, and apparently he pestered her to hang out. Now, whenever I hear a story like this, guys, first of all, I never believe it. Like, I never absolutely believe it. For all we know, the dude only hit her up once, or he canceled the date, or he left early, or whatever the case may be. Maybe she was more serious with another guy that she's not telling us about. Like, this is the beauty, guys. I don't think a lot of dudes, or girls don't want to admit this, but I don't think a lot of dudes understand either, is all of this kind of crap typically happens through Instagram. okay? And girls will be seeing a handful of dudes at one time, okay? And they might go on a date with a dude here, a date with a dude here, and they won't continue to see another man because maybe they're invested in another one. They're basically doing like this juggling act, and they want to pretend like the reason they didn't see a particular dude was, oh, because he's bad, despite the fact that that doesn't put her off at all, and maybe she was just screwing with another guy some more, and that's the reason why. Like, we have no way of knowing what the hell is going on here, guys, but despite all this, she continues to see him again afterwards, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if during this, when she saw him the first time, she had a boyfriend. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And a week and a half ago, I was out with friends. We were like right by his spot. And he was like, oh my God, like, you live a block, like, that's a block, that bar is a block away from me. And I was like, cool, come through, come meet up with us. He came met up with us. And I was like, holy shit, this man, I'm into him. I'm very, very into him. And then
So let's pause it right here. I think she was into him the whole time because she knew where his quote-unquote spot was, right? And this is something interesting that women do, again, guys, is like, whenever a dude hits on them, they'll put it out on social media. Well, not all of them, right? But a lot of girls, what they'll do is when a man hits on them, they'll treat it like a status symbol. So what they'll do is they'll come out here and go on social media, oh, you know, this guy asked me out a whole bunch of times, right? And what the reason why they do that, and I've made this point so many times, is to make themselves appear more valuable than they actually are. Even if the dude only asked her once to hang out, even if the dude didn't ask her at all, a lot of these girls will pull this card to try and make themselves appear valuable to men, because that's what they, that's what they see in the other gender. When a dude's desired by a lot of women, women pay attention, and they think the same thing applies to them, when truthfully, guys, a lot of men don't give a crap how many dudes are in your DMs. A lot of the times it's actually repulsive, to be quite honest with you. Like, girls who are chased by 50, a whole bunch of dudes, it's not appealing to us. It doesn't make you any more intriguing. It actually makes you less relationship material to dudes who have self-respect, that is.
Then I ended up going home with him. Now we're on our third date, and I don't know what to do. Trying to finesse a boy series.
Yeah, right. And this is what modern dating has turned into, okay? Girls going out here, making stupid decisions, knowing that they are going to be unable to get the guy to commit, and treating it like a damn series. Now, before we jump into the next video where she's obviously like sitting in her car, having just been screwed over, let's take a look at some of these comments from this video, okay? So this video that we just watched, as you can see up here where my cursor is, it has 218,000 likes on it, which means it has well over 1 million views. And let's take a look at some of these comments. This person here says, he stayed consistent, you gotta see him through. Can't wait for the well, I was right all along TikTok. Yeah, see, because everybody knows it, right? Christina here says, oh my goodness, make this a series. Run, don't walk, says Melanie. You see, whenever girls say this crap and they're like, oh, run away from him, girl, the girls never listen. You see what I'm saying? Like, they never actually listen to each other. Blah, blah, blah. Ma'am, you're gorgeous, don't sweat it. All the insecure men in the comments. Such a terrible take. A man will change for the right woman. I didn't understand this attitude of going out here and trying to change people, like, oh yeah, I'm going to turn him from a guy who doesn't take women seriously at all, and I'm going to get him to have a relationship with me. It's kind of like the same thing as a dude going out here and trying to turn a girl who's for the streets into a wife. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Step one, be an attractive man, says Devin. I mean, if you're looking for something long-term, get to know him before, put him in a different scenarios and see his behavior, see if you're okay with it. Yeah, so your mistake here, Greg, is to assume that this woman is thinking logically at all, and she's not out here just trying to have some fun. You can't win with these girls, man, forever complaining about something. That's some absolute facts right there. Now, let's take a look at this next video clip, which obviously you guys would have seen in the intro. Of what exactly happens next. So let me pull up this and we will take a look.
Our third date, and I don't know what to do. Trying to finesse a boy. I mean,
yeah, so she's in her car, right, in the middle of the night, obviously just had her fun, on her way home, probably. I don't know exactly. But clearly, hasn't got a ring on her finger or nothing like that. Doesn't seem to have, made a video here being excited about the fact that she got a boyfriend or anything like that. She looks like she's just been over to the dude's house and then the dude's kicked her out, and now she's on the street here. You see what I'm saying? Like, again, guys, these are the decisions that these individuals decide to make, and at the end of it, when they're 35 and 40, they blame the dudes, right? Because, oh, dudes are dogs, and they never took me seriously, despite the fact that all along, this woman right here could have had a relationship. All right, but let's take a look at some of these comments here. Meg here, in her infinite wisdom, says these comments aren't passing the vibe check. She's thriving. Bye. Can you guys imagine, right? This is your daughter right here. Like, would you use the word thriving? I don't think I would use the adjective thriving in this particular situation. She's sitting here quite literally on the streets, but it is what it is. I guess this is the crap that you're talking about, right? Meg here. Meg is the type of friend that you would have that just like tries to give you advice that gets you more deeper and deeper into bad situations, right? And girls will listen to Megs, right? They won't listen to the girls that'll tell them to run, that'll tell them to leave the dude, but they'll listen to girls like Meg here. Thomas here says she got finessed, which she absolutely did. Blah, blah, blah. Reason number 7,384 why I don't want a daughter. Smart man right here. Guys that get around are guys that do the market research. They know what they're doing. Find God, says Garrett here. Yeah, I think you're preaching to the wrong individual. I don't understand what's going on. Are you wearing his clothes? I think she just got sent out to the streets, to be honest with you. Your shirt's on backwards. I don't know why everyone is so mad, because I love this. You go, girl. Have to follow to see how this develops. I'm invested now. I'm invested in this journey. Blah, 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 blah. My thoughts on it, guys, is that she probably got finessed right here. And she's being kicked out, or whatever the case may be. But gentlemen, let's jump into today's talking points. We are going to be talking about some of the reasons why modern women, a lot of them at least, don't take accountability for their decisions. Now, the first reason that I have pulled up here, guys, I've got 5 reasons that I'm going to be going through you gentlemen with as to why a lot of these girls refuse to take accountability. Feel free to add your own in the comments. Whenever I make lists like this, there's some guy in the comments that says, oh, Taylor, what about this? And usually it's quite valid. You can perfectly fine go out here and expand on the list that I'm about to tell you. But the first reason why a lot of these modern women don't take accountability for their decisions is because it hurts their ego. Right, it really does. A lot of them, they'll never sit there and go, you know what, I was wrong about this, because oftentimes they build their identity around it. For example, okay, a lot of them will never admit that they made a terrible dating decision, or they saw a dude that they shouldn't have, or they got screwed over, because they'll say, oh, it was a learning experience, right? Or I'm independent, I don't need no man. Okay, and what they'll do is they'll build their whole identity around the fact that they continue to go out here and make these stupid decisions, and that they're refusing to take accountability, right? Like, I'm a boss babe. I don't need to take crap from nobody, despite the fact that a lot of the crap, quote unquote, that other people are saying is literally just constructive criticism that they refuse to listen to, right? You guys know those types of individuals out there who it's like, no matter what you say to them, they're going to treat it as though it's an attack on them if you try and help them at all, right? So if you were to sit down with any of these girls and say, maybe you shouldn't get with random dudes who you know are terrible for you. Oh, well, guys, you're obviously a misogynist, right? If you go out here and you say, hey, maybe having a ridiculously high body count with men that you barely know through Instagram is a bad idea, then people will come out here and say, oh, you're a bigot, right? They'll just throw adjectives at you, man. Oh, what, you're an incel, right? I have to kind of avoid the word here on YouTube. I had an email from a guy the other day who was telling me, Taylor, you say the word misogynist wrong. Yes, I do. It's quite intentional. But a lot of them will never take accountability because it hurts their ego, gentlemen. And quite honestly, they build their identity around, in fact, making terrible decisions. Like, oh, she's just living life. She's exploring her options. How many times have we heard this one? Oh, she's finding herself, and garbage like that, okay? But let's continue to the next point as to why a lot of them don't take accountability, and that is that they were never actually taught to take accountability. Since a lot of these girls have been, little girls, guys, since they've been growing up, a lot of them get absolutely pampered, absolutely spoiled. A lot of daddy's girls out here, if the father's even in the picture, like we already know how families are looking in 2022. Okay, a lot of families have been removed. Fathers, excuse me, have been removed from families and stuff like that. But they were never actually taught to take accountability, right? Like a lot of them, none of them really get pulled up by people and told that, hey, what you did was wrong, or this decision that you made was terrible. And part of the reason for this as well, guys, is that it's socially unacceptable a lot of the times to tell other people, girls specifically, to tell them to take accountability, right? Because then you'll come off as that guy who's terrible and awful. Guys, I saw a comment. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Okay, not the funniest thing I've ever seen, but let me tell you a quick story, okay? There was this guy that I knew when I was younger from school, okay? And he was the type of guy, he was, out there doing sports all the time. And he was always good with the girls, he was one of the popular kids, going out here. A lot of the girls liked him and stuff like that. And as we grew older, we got out, and I think he went to university or something like that. And a few months ago, I saw him do a Facebook post. Now, I'm never on Facebook because you all know social media is terrible unless you're actually using it for something. I saw a post from him on Facebook, and it said something like, oh, I'm so sick of girls who are 4s acting like they're 10s, okay? And let me tell you, this guy got absolutely roasted by women in the comments, right? Because all the girls came on, and they were so disappointed in him. How awful. How could he say something so terrible? Even though, like, we all know it to be true. Like, a lot of these girls who, like, it's kind of like a broke dude walking around thinking that he's entitled to just like Lamborghinis and crap. You know what I mean? It's like the same kind of thing. Girls will be out here, they'll look absolutely terrible and just like demand that you treat them like they're the absolute queen or that they're a princess and crap like this. And that's the thing, guys, is like anytime you come out here and you say, hey, you girls are being stupid, or you're acting in a way that's terrible, or this or that, or the behavior is unacceptable, you get shamed into oblivion, right? Because all the girls, they come together and go, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. I had a couple of girls, guys, who were angry at me the other day. I said, I'm never getting married because I'm not giving a woman my possessions. That's what I said. Right? Even if she has my kids, I'm not giving her half of my crap. She didn't earn it. Okay? If she wants to have my crap, which I'm never getting married, by the way, but I said hypothetically, if the girl wants to have if she wants access to the possessions that I have, I'm not doing it while she's out here screwing with other dudes or while we're not together. You see what I'm saying? And the girls who heard me say that, one of them called me, I think she called me disgusting, and then the other one wouldn't talk to me. Right, literally sulked like a child because of what I said right there. And that's what I'm saying, guys. It's like, maybe men don't want to give you half their crap. Maybe men aren't interested in your terrible behavior. But the thing is, you're not allowed to say that. You're never actually allowed to push girls to take any accountability for their terrible decisions, guys, because you'll be absolutely obliterated for it. And so as a consequence, a lot of girls are never actually taught to take accountability at all in the first place. Now let's continue on to the third point here out of 5, why a lot of these girls don't take accountability, and that is that they tell each other not to. Right? You guys saw the comment earlier from, I think it was a woman named Meg. I don't know. She had like the most forgettable name of all time. Probably Meg. And she was out here saying, oh, she's thriving. This girl's out here thriving. These comments don't pass the vibe check, okay? Is the girls kind of get together, and they're kind of like crabs in a bucket. I tell you what, there are very few things that make women as jealous as other women out here having successful relationships or marriages and stuff like that. Okay, so when girls make terrible decisions, it's really sad to watch that a lot of other girls will actually encourage them to continue to make those bad decisions and not take accountability for them. Right? Girl goes out here, she gets with a random dude, she has to take a certain medication the next day to avoid certain things happening, right? That's strong and empowering. Okay, and our friends will go, oh, you're just living life. Don't listen to anybody who judges you for making these decisions. Okay, and then the problem with that, obviously, guys, is they're surrounded by people who will insist that they refuse to take accountability and will insist that they continue to make terrible decisions. Right, like it's amazing to me, guys. Like I've seen girls who have been out here, they've been married, okay, and they'll have friends who are like whispering in their ear saying, oh, he's no good for you, or he doesn't do enough around the house, or he doesn't do this, or he doesn't do that, even though the guy's like working absolutely full days, busting his backside in order to provide for her, and yet there's that like friend in her ear sitting there saying you can do better, or he doesn't treat you well enough, and before you know it, she's out here going on coffee dates through Instagram. Which, guys, like I mention this so often, but please understand that Instagram is a dating application. There's a clip going around of, I think it's Myron from Fresh and Fit, okay, and all the people out here are getting triggered because he says that it's cheating for a girl to have an Instagram. Guys, let me tell you, Instagram is a dating application. You can take that how you want, but it absolutely is, okay? Because what it does is it allows us as men to constantly be in very close proximity to girls. Basically what happens is girls will have relationships, or they'll have flings, or they'll have dudes that they're interested in, any of these three things, okay? And those dudes will permanently be an inch away from her. All she has to do is respond to their story. All they have to do is respond to hers. And the guys are just permanently there. It's kind of like the women are permanently in a shop where they can decide to switch out a dude at any time, guys. And they're voluntarily sitting in that shop. Now, you can take that how you will, guys. I'm just out here letting you know that Instagram is a dating application. And personally, guys, like a lot of women, they'll say that they're not using it for that purpose, but they really are. And that's how they keep their foot open, opening the doors of many different dudes at any given time, right? Like you guys would not believe how ridiculous Instagram is for dating. It has absolutely ruined everything, guys. Absolutely. That and Tinder, those two things primarily have just caused so much damage. But that's the point that I wanted to talk about there, guys, is that they tell each other not to take accountability. So that's the third reason, excuse me. Now, the fourth reason why a lot of modern women don't take accountability for their decisions, and this is the big one, right? And if you're going to listen to any on this list, like you guys don't have to listen to what I say. It doesn't bother me, right? If you guys watch this video and you think I'm full of crap, that's totally fine. You're free to make your own decision. This one, however, I would insist that you take it to heart, right? And that is that men never hold them accountable, and we tolerate bad behavior. And this is the thing that makes me sad, okay? I see dudes out here who are good men, who have good morals, they have good ethics, right? These things that women pretend to care about. You know what I mean? Like these things that girls pretend to care about, okay? Morals, ethics, you got good values, you're a hardworking dude, okay? And yet we have dudes with these qualities out here who are tolerating this bad behavior and not holding girls accountable for it. And unfortunately in 2022, guys, there's not really a whole lot you can do to hold girls accountable, right? I'm not saying that you should go out here and get violent or anything like that. Obviously incredibly stupid. Don't be doing that. Don't be getting into like yelling matches with these girls. A lot of them treat it as a victory, by the way, if you get into yelling matches with them, so don't do that. But dudes tolerate bad behavior. That's one of the big reasons, guys, why a lot of them don't take accountability, is because dudes will just straight up tolerate it, right? Dudes will be out here in a relationship, their girl will be talking to a whole bunch of guys, and there'll be some Reddit post that I'll cover on one of these episodes, and he'll be saying like, oh, my girl's talking to other guys, what do? You leave her ass, is what you do. Right, things like this, guys, these are not discussions, right? I'm a person who, look, guys, I believe in compromise to an extent, okay? Like, nobody's out here being, having successful relationships with any man, woman, friendships or whatever if you're out here being a dictator, okay? But here's the thing, there are certain things, guys, that, like, we as dudes are not out here tolerating this disrespectful crap. It goes or the man goes. You see what I'm saying? And too many dudes are out here tolerating it and going, you know what? You're my queen. I love you so much. I'm going to pedestalize you no matter what decisions that you decide to make. And I'm going to continue to be here. Right? And so as a result, the girls will never take accountability for their decisions. Okay? They'll continue to go out here and do terrible things because a lot of the dudes are sitting there deciding to willingly put up with those terrible things. Okay? Now, guys, the last reason that I have here, and this is probably the funniest one, I think, on the list as to why they don't take accountability for their decisions, is because the decisions that they make are for their own benefit, even if they never say it, okay? So girls will say, like, oh, he treated me so terribly, you know, I'm a victim. He did this to me. He did that, which, you know, fair enough, might be true. But let's be honest, guys, a lot of these girls, they be lying. The decisions that they make are often for their own benefit. Now, what do I mean by that? Girls will complain about the terrible decisions. I mean, the terrible behavior of a guy that they knew, for example, was a quote unquote F-boy. But they chose to see that guy. Why? Because he's exciting, because he's fun, because he's going to be a new experience, because he's going to offer an experience in the bedroom, perhaps, you know what I mean? All right, got to be safe over here on YouTube, guys. Susan will throw a hissy fit at me, okay? Like, they don't want to actually admit that, like, the decisions that they've made, they've actually done for themselves, okay? And this is why you hear language like, I'm out here doing healing, or I'm finding myself. And really what that means, guys, is they're out here finding themselves with other dudes. You know, they're out here finding themselves with men. That's what they're doing. It hasn't got anything to do with healing or aligning chakras or some bullcrap like that. Girls who talk about crystals and star signs and all this garbage, guys. Like, no. I'm not having any of it. A lot of the decisions, the bad decisions, quote unquote, that they make are actually good decisions, right? That they didn't like the consequences for. They liked messing with the bad boy until he wouldn't commit, even though they knew it wasn't coming the entire time. Right, so guys, those have been 5 reasons why a lot of modern women refuse to take accountability for their decisions. And before we wrap up today's episode, guys, we are going to be taking a look at a couple of Reddit stories to wrap up the episode. So let's take a look at this first one here, and I've only half read these, so let's take a little bit of a look. So this first one here, girlfriend left. So this is from 10 hours ago, by the way, in relationship advice, I believe this is. Girlfriend left me and is taking her new boyfriend to her apartment. Now, this is probably going to be relatable to quite a lot of dudes who watch this. So let's take a listen. I've been dating this girl for a year, and we got a lease on an apartment for 6 months, currently on month 5. She said I did everything perfect, and she just lost feelings for me, and that's it. This is the thing that's most amazing to me, gentlemen, is like we have things out here like no fault divorce, okay, where a woman can divorce men now for like irreconcilable differences or some crap like that, where she doesn't really have to specify a reason, and she can just do it because why, guys? Oh, because she feels like it. She just lost feelings for the guy. Okay, and all of a sudden she's seeing another dude, like, I believe in this story it's like 3 days later. Oh yeah, there we go, right? And it's like, girls will complain about their relationships inherently being unstable or being unable to keep around the guy for a long period of time. But like, you're basing your relationships purely off of feelings, which change over time. Like, you want to have a family, right? But you have no idea what sacrifice is because you're just chasing shiny objects. It's ridiculous, okay? Let's get going. After 3 days of breaking up, she gets a new boyfriend and takes her to our apartment when I decided to stay at my parents' house, and they had fun together in my bed after I said I didn't want him sleeping there. They are trying to be civil and want me to sign another lease, but with the new boyfriend on it, and they said we'll all just be chill together. So how many dudes watching this, I wonder, how many dudes have had this experience, right? Where you and your girl break up, and then within a very short amount of time, she's with another dude, right? I would say a very high percentage of dudes have had this experience. Now, not all there's dudes out here who haven't ever had relationships and stuff like that, but I think a high percentage of the dudes who have been in relationships have got out of them, and then within a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, she's been with the next guy, and the reason for that is because she lined up the guy previously. But let's keep going. So yeah, they're trying to be civil. Interesting, right? This is why you don't listen. Like, you watch what people do rather than what they say, because if they were trying to be civil, they wouldn't be using your bed for recreational purposes, my guy. He says, I was angry and said how I don't want him sleeping in my bed, and it was effed, and if the roles were reversed, you'd understand how effed this is. I don't want to move back in with my parents because of my past, but I also think it'd be way too awkward and go through too much pain if I'm living in the same place as my ex's new boyfriend. I also can't afford to live on my own, going through a ton of pain right now, and I feel like here is the only place I can vent. We ended our relationship on good terms, and we agreed to be friends, but this is all making everything hurt worse. Yeah, guys, let you in a little secret here. Whenever a girl tries to be friends with you, just say no. Girls and like girlfriends and partners, whatever you want to call them, they have this habit of trying to turn dudes into their friends. And whenever a girl says this, tell her, guys, like, I'm not interested in being your friend. Can we break? If we ever broke up, would we still be friends? No. Why don't you want to be my friend? Oh, I don't need any more friends. I have enough friends. Which, by the way, this guy needs to get some friends so he can live with them instead of like having to be forced between, you know, living with his parents or living with these clowns. He needs to get some friends, and this is why, again, guys, you don't move in with the girls. Okay, if you need to move out, if you need to get out of your parents' house, or maybe, you know, things are going terrible, go with your friends. Don't go with your girlfriend, because when crap like this happens, everything's going to be like magnified and so much worse. Now let's continue into today's last Reddit story, and then we are going to wrap up today's episode. So the title right here is "My 34-year-old female ex cheated on me, who is a 29-year-old male, last month. I lost the ability to walk in, which I stayed by her side, and the entire process through her spinal surgery, and now she says she wishes I was never there and how selfish I am, and used this opportunity to look like a better person. Why are people like this?" So this dude's my 34-year-old ex cheated on me, who was a 29-year-old male, last month. Okay, so this is the other way around. This is actually a dude cheating, I believe, unless I'm reading this wrong. Excuse me, gentlemen. I've had an obscene amount of coffee before recording this. Oh no, sorry. He is the 29-year-old male, I believe. I lost the ability to walk. So I think is the 34-year-old female lost her ability to walk. He was with her through her the entire time, and she's been awful on top of cheating on him, if I'm reading this correctly, which I also could not be. I was still grieving the fact that my ex had cheated on me and tossed away 4 years of a fling, and lied every step of the way. She suddenly developed spinal issues and couldn't walk. I mean, that sounds like karma to me, to be honest with you. So being the effing fool I was, I went and saw her every day, bringing her any stuff from the apartment that she needed. The day of her release after surgery, she tells me she wants nothing to do with me. Okay, I'm not entitled to being with her. In fact, I had no desire to be after she cheated on me. It was her finding fault in what I did for her while she was helpless. I washed her effing body as she laid there helpless because I care about her, but I guess it did go for the clout, as so she says. She left as soon as she got surgery to go get intoxicated. Go figure. And I've got to blame the dude a little bit, guys, again, for putting up. This is the kind of crap I'm talking about. Like, why are you even here, man? So many dudes are like, oh yeah, I'm in a relationship and it's terrible and all this, and I hear it and I'm like, so leave. And they never actually see it as an option, which I find to be incredibly damn sad. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave any comments you have. Don't forget to subscribe to our newest member of Fiend Gang, guys, Detective Warg. I'm going to get my editor to put up a graphic of his channel on screen right now. His channel is going to be linked in the description, guys. Make sure that you give it a subscribe. And as always, make sure that you take care of yourselves. And I will be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. We are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you are interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.